Airbnb is about to get crushed, guys. I mean, crushed.
It's gonna crush us.
I know a lot of you guys do Airbnbs. A lot of you guys are interested in doing Airbnbs. I wanted to give my insight of what I believe is going to happen to Airbnb when a recession hits. My name is Orlando Minor and welcome to my channel. So let's jump right into it. So hosts of Airbnb are going to have the hardest time, especially when it comes to a recession. My viewpoints are this, guys. If you are a host and when it comes to a recession or anything else, what is the number one thing that people cut back on during a recession? You got it. They're going to cut back on traveling. We saw this with the pandemic. We saw this with recession in '08. When things get really, really tight, individuals do not want to travel. They're not going to spend extra money that they do not have and go ahead and push it towards traveling. And hosts of Airbnb are going to feel this the worst because that is where all of their income comes in. So what will they have to do? They will have to drop their prices.
Lower.
They would have to convert it into a monthly rental, which that's not the reason why they got into Airbnb. They got into Airbnb because they saw the high premiums that they could make over doing monthly rentals. So that is not where they want to be, but that's going to be the trouble when you get into a recession. Then we have Airbnb's refund policy, new refund policy. Now this refund policy that they're doing is they're trying to copy like a customer satisfaction when it comes to Amazon. You know, when you get something from Amazon, you know how easy it is to return something back to Amazon? Well, Airbnb is trying to mimic that. They're trying to do the exact same thing so people will have confidence and know what type of customer service that they will get if they need to cancel a booking or anything comes up, that they will be the premier service for that industry. That's what they're trying to do. This is Airbnb's new refund and reimbursement policy for travel issues. There are 3 noteworthy changes for the refund policy. First, guests are able to refund within 72 hours after travel issue is discovered instead of 24 hours. In some cases, they can report more than 72 hours after the issue is found. Second, the language defining a travel issue is more ambiguous. Third, hosts may be required to pay for comparable or better accommodations for guests who have travel issues. Now, let's jump right into the 72 hours, guys. The 72-hour rule after someone gets there. So this, I feel, is something that's very kind of vague. A lot of things could happen, but in this scenario, you're basically saying an individual comes, stays at your unit, and within 72 hours, they find something that, you know, to them isn't what was described or some type of qualm that they have with the unit. They can then report that, and then you are supposed to either find them a better accommodations or pay for something that's comparable. So that is a huge. Do I think a lot of travelers will take this and use this? I don't know, but I think there's going to be some bad apples that are going to abuse the heck out of this and that will crush some Airbnb owners, some hosts that will just make them want to get out of the game. And not only that, but I feel like Airbnb is trying to get rid of the arbitrage individuals. I think Airbnb is going to go towards a model in the future of you having to prove that you own the property before you do Airbnb. Now, that's just what I'm hearing. I'm hearing some things, you know. All of this obviously is rumors, right? It's nothing that's like concrete. In my opinion, I can see Airbnb actually doing that, having to actually prove that you own the property before you list it online, because there's a lot of scams going on Airbnb. A lot of people booking and paying, and all of a suddenly you go there and people are like, what are you doing here? This is my house. You know, I've seen some of that stuff happen. You know, cities are clamping down, guys. Cities are clamping down on individuals doing Airbnbs. I just saw an article. I know this is an off tangent of staying on topic of the 72-hour, but this is really on key. I just saw an article where it said that New York now has more Airbnbs than it has actual apartments for rent. Now, isn't that crazy? And that's what cities want to get rid of. Cities want to get rid of that, guys. And so when a recession hits, you're going to start seeing a lot of things starting to come into play. Look, cities do not want where the city is majority Airbnbs. Cities do not want that. Cities love for people to come to their city to travel, to do things, but they need consistent people living there so they can spend money at businesses, so they can spend money at restaurants and things of that nature. They don't need a constant flow of people traveling back and forth. That's not very consistent. And then you got to remember, what about all of the money that the cities have given to hotels and things to bring business to the city, and individuals aren't even using those facilities, the hotels that they gave them millions and millions of dollars worth of tax credits, and all of a sudden, travelers are not even using those facilities. They're using personal homes. They're using apartment units that are used to be for residents for Airbnbs. That's not going to happen. That takes money out of the city for sales tax and everything else, and they do not want that. So you're going to see a lot of cities come on board and do some ridiculous things as far as banning Airbnb. Some cities have already done that, where they said no Airbnbs here. You're going to start seeing some cities do strict restrictions on Airbnb. You know, maybe one per person, or maybe so many Airbnbs within this sector, or maybe they can only be zoned in this area. Who knows? According to the new policies, guests have up to 72 hours after discovering a travel issue to request a refund. Further, the policies add, where a guest demonstrates that timely reporting of travel issue was not feasible, we may allow for late reporting on travel issues under this policy. Not only are they giving you 72 hours after discovering the issue, so that means you could be 3 days into a 3-week stay and still be able to report it. It's when you find the issue. And now they're saying, even in the details, that they will allow late reporting. They will allow late reporting where a guest demonstrates that timely reporting of a travel issue was not feasible. Okay, so let's go into the second one, travel issues concerning condition of the property. Now, this is pretty simple, guys. I mean, it's basically you go to a property and you find out that the conditions of the property is not what you saw in pictures, what was described, and you basically were hoodwinked. You were tricked into believing that you were getting, you know, a 5-star hotel and it's a 1-star. I totally understand that. You know, you should get your money back, a total refund. And it should be on the host to accommodate you and get you into our pay for tricking you. So I totally get that. Here's another thing that I think that a lot of people aren't seeing in these rules. It says, in addition to the term vermin was changed to pests, and then generally clean was changed to reasonably clean. Now, here's the thing. If any traveler sees like a bug or anything like that, they can report that and get a refund. Same thing with cleaning. If it's not clean or not up to your standard, can you get a refund? I mean, you may have a little pushback from Airbnb on that, but I think you can. I think you can. Airbnb now requires hosts to pay and reimburse for comparable or better accommodations. This right here, this section just right here, I believe will push people out of Airbnb, especially if people start to abuse this, guys. You know, if you have to come up with someone canceling and saying they want their money back, and then you have to not only refund them, but you have to find better accommodations for them. I don't know. Does that seem like it's worth it? Is the risk worth the reward? The reward being you're going to get 4 to 5 times higher in monthly rent than you would if you did a monthly rental. Is that worth it versus, you know, dealing with all of these headaches, dealing with Airbnb rules being changed, a recession, meaning you're going to get crushed in that portion because people aren't going to travel. And then you have to deal with city restrictions on top of that. I don't know, guys. I mean, I'm just giving a broad overview of this. And I just think that Airbnb is going to really feel the pain. Can they come out on the other end of it? A host, can he come out on the other end? Yes. But get ready for what's coming down the pipe with this housing market, because the housing market, the economy, everything's all tangled up together. Everything's leveraged on top of each other, and it's going to be a domino effect. And this domino effect is going to affect you as an Airbnb host, in my opinion. So be prepared for that. Put yourself in the best position that you possibly can. Once again, look at this info, guys. I'll put the link in there about the new rule changes for Airbnb, but also make sure you look at your city and see what's happening in your city. And if you're going to be doing Airbnb in these high areas, Austin and Dallas and Miami and all these places where people want to be, a lot of these cities are putting in a lot of protections to stop Airbnbs, because it's really crumbling the infrastructure of what they have already paid into. I'm gonna need you to check out this next video here. It will help you get into your first rental property, learn all about this crazy housing market, guys. Please check in the description below. I have some useful links there to get a free credit report and to get into a membership program. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.